It's a day after the final, and we are still recovering from what has been a fantastic tournament, culminating in Gujarat Titans winning the finals, making history really, being the debut team. Hardik Pandya leading from the front for Gujarat Titans, and what a performance by Gujarat Titans, and what a final by them. It was another great show from Gujarat Titans. Narayan's here with me. We look back in some of the things that have stood out for us throughout this tournament. So that's the show. It's the review show a day after the IPL final. And Nikhil, some withdrawal symptoms. No match today.
I'm actually very happy. I'm looking forward to some test cricket.
I have mixed feelings. You do feel like, okay, you can move on to other things, but then at the same time, you're so used to expecting a match every night that this is a little strange.
I'm switching to the Nadal Djokovic quarterfinal tomorrow.
Okay, okay. But just looking back on the campaign, on the IPL itself, and then specifically of Gujarat Titans, we've got to start with the champions, and why not? How good have we been, especially given that no one gave them a chance. There were a lot of people saying this team does not have quality batting, they don't have quality bowling. Hardik Pandya, will he be able to lead from the front? Everybody has been proven wrong today. Hardik Pandya showing कि गुजरात में दो चीजें चलती हैं, एक है डांडिया और एक है पांड्या. And that's what we're going to begin with, the rise of the Titans. How good has this tournament been for them?
Absolutely stunning. I still can't believe the Titans. A team no one predicted will win. No one. I mean, no cricket website, no broadcaster, no stats is worth its salt. I mean, it's just unbelievable that a team which had one of the worst auctions, I would say, along with Sunrisers Hyderabad, they have gone on to win the title in their debut season. A team led by a player who was questioned for his leadership qualities, also out of form, ousted by his previous franchise, not a part of the Indian team. Him, maturing in the way he did, leading his team to the title. It's just, and the collective performance of this team, 8 different player of the match awards, getting the best out of players like David Miller, who never batted with such consistency, even for the national team for South Africa. He not batted like this, like he did for the Titans this year. It's been absolutely stunning.
I think the part that stands out for me has been those 8 different player of the match awards. I think that's what just sums up the tournament for me when it comes to Gujarat Titans, where everybody has played their role perfectly. And that credit needs to be given not just to the team management, which is Gary Kirsten, Ashish Nehra. I mean, there are some incredible stories out there, and I know when they do talk at length about how they really got this team together and how they went about the campaign. It'll be fascinating to understand what it took. But yes, the roles of each and every player, and those players then playing that role perfectly till the very end of the tournament, that has been exceptional. Okay, now Hardik Pandya, enough has already been said, but I think it will go on for a few more days before India start playing South Africa, and why not? How good has Hardik Pandya been? I guess why it also becomes so important, Nikhil, is that it's one thing that it's expected out of you, but when no one expects you to do it, and no one expects you to do it in the way that you do it, that has been exceptional. Was Hardik Pandya's captain? That was questioned. Hardik Pandya, will he be able to bowl? Will he be fit enough? You know what he did in the World Cup? When he doesn't bowl, he's not good enough for the team. He shouldn't be in the Indian team. All of those questions. Hardik Pandya, will he be able to lead? I mean, he's the same guy who said whatever he said during Coffee with Karan. Can he then get the respect of his teammates? Can he lead from the front? My goodness, he's proved everybody wrong, and what a revelation he's been.
What a revelation. Ended as the highest run scorer for his team, almost 500 runs, 4 50s, pushing himself to number 4, initially playing the role of the anchor and accumulator, then when need be, also playing aggressively, batting in the depth, leadership, coming on to bowl in the power play in the initial few matches. I remember his economy rate, it was under 5 in the first few matches. It was the best in the tournament. Then he had an injury and he did not bowl for the next few matches. Again came back. That performance in the final with the ball, which is not his strongest.
Which is the spell of the tournament.
Spell of the tournament. For me, it was the bowling performance of the tournament. Getting, Butler, Hitmeyer, Samson, match over. Match was over. I mean, the best web, it was 99-1 when I saw at the halfway, I had some predictions were showing 99-1 at the halfway stage yesterday. So, Hardik Pandya, then 35th match, we keep harping about it. And it's very important. The first captain who said, I will bat first.
First, yeah.
Because everyone was fielding first, and it was almost a superstition. Captains were scared. And also in a tournament, barring KL Rahul, whose strike rate is also questionable, captains have failed. Rishabh Pant, not done well. So Chandu Samson, not converted. Mayank Agarwal completely failed.
Ravindra Jadeja.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Retired mid-season.
Yeah.
He has risen, and how? Yeah. It's absolutely fascinating.
Okay, then what about the losers of the final? Rajasthan Royals. Again, it was heartbreaking, disappointing for Rajasthan Royals fans. They've had a very good campaign, but that campaign was led by two individuals. Joss Butler with the orange cap and Yuzvendra Chahal with the purple cap. How good have they been? We've got to take a moment out. Yes, they're the losers, runners-up rather, we'd call them that, but both of these individuals excelled in this tournament.
Absolutely. I mean, the campaign for Royals this season was built around Butler at the top of the order and Chahal in the middle overs. It's only twice before has a team ended with the orange and the purple cap, and unfortunately, as I was saying yesterday, in 2013 and in 17 they ended on the losing side. It was a story this year around too. But Joss Butler firstly, absolutely sensational. Breaking David Warner's record, second highest scorer for the most runs in a season. Only Virat Kohli ahead of him. At one point, it looked he'd break Virat Kohli's record, 400, including the losing streak record. Just the way he batted, and that century in the qualifier.
Sure, in Ahmedabad today, and there were lakhs of people lining up to look at their stars. That's the kind of fans that Gujarat Titans performance and they have created this season. Okay, then we move on to the domination of leg spinner. Oh my goodness, when the auction was going on, Nikhil and I were so surprised that spinners didn't go for that kind of money that one expected, especially leg spinners, except for Vanindu Hasaranga. Fast bowlers went for a lot of money, but spinners did. Once again, leg spinners specifically showing how important they are in this format.
Absolutely. When this tournament started, I remember doing the first, first week review. And first week review show, we saw that the fast bowlers were doing well. The spinners were restrictive, but the spinners weren't taking wickets. But that suddenly changed the second week onwards. And these very bowlers, Kuldeep Yadav, Yuzvendra Chahal, Vanindu Hasaranga, especially these three, since then haven't looked back. Two of them have ended as the highest wicket takers, Hasaranga and Yuzvendra Chahal. In fact, Yuzvendra Chahal's 27 wickets are the most for a spinner in any season of the IPL. He's overtaken Imran Tahir. He's broken Imran Tahir's record. And then Kuldeep Yadav was absolutely brilliant also, till the last week of the tournament. At one point it seemed that he'll overtake Yuzvendra Chahal. It's the return of Kulcha for India, going back to the 2017 to 2019 template with Virat Kohli had started, and it took India to the #1 rankings in ODI cricket and T20 cricket, dominating bilateral series all over the world. I think the exciting times. Kulcha in India, even in Australia for that matter, I think will be India's primary spinners in limited overs ahead of Ashwin and Jadeja.
And if the spinners said we can do the job, while with the pacers stay behind, Indian pacers. What we saw in this IPL was also the depth that one sees in domestic cricket. All of that coming through in the form of pacers who've done well. They came out of the grind of domestic cricket to impress us all. 11 Indian pacers with 15 plus wickets. That in itself is a record. And look at those names there. Umran Malik, the most impressive of the lot, but there is Mohsin Khan, there's Kuldeep Sen, and there are others. Shami, of course, we know what he's done. Harshal Patel.
Mukesh Chaudhary, T. Natarajan making a comeback. And the list is not. And what striking is, it's been a great season for Indian fast bowlers, and in particular left-arm seamers. Mukesh Chaudhary, Mohsin Khan, T. Natarajan, Arshdeep Singh. I'm missing one or two. I can. So Khalil Ahmed. So India now has a talent pool. This is like Pakistan's talent pool back in the day. Currently we have a stronger bench strength in bowling than in batting. Batting, with Virat and Rohit not doing well is a cause of a bit concern. But the bowling, we can be 3 out of our bowling, bench set right now.
I mean, if you make the tournament 11 right now, you don't need to take any of the foreign pacers. You can make a very good match-winning, the best bowling outfit with just the Indian pacers. That's how good they've been.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think the only other bowler who stood out, foreign bowler, was Kabir Rabada.
Yeah.
But other than that, and Josh Hazlewood, but didn't get as many matches. Okay, then we move on from the rise of Indian pacers to Punjab Kings, the disappointment of Punjab Kings. Punjab Kings looked so good on paper. They had all their bases covered, but it just goes on to show that when you don't have clear roles for each and every player, you also have a philosophy that does not work, which is going hammer and tongs from the word go without considering the match situation, that this is what happens.
Absolutely. Their performance, I still can't believe Punjab Kings, the way they played with the team at their disposal.
Yeah.
We were all gathered after the auctions, great job by Anil Kumble and his, and his stats people, his whole team.
Yeah.
But the way they performed, the way some of the strategical changes, some of the, the team changes.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, you dropped an inform Manuka Rajapaksha, who was, brilliant, and revelation, the way he was batting, scoring 40 or 25 deliveries, just because Johnny Bairstow was available, and he's been a big-ticketed player, a big name. So you drop an informed player, and Bairstow collapsed. The Bairstow failed in every match initial half of the tournament. He did well later, but it was too late by then. So, that was a big blunder. Then you kept changing your 11, change the batting order.
Mayank Agarwal not being able to get runs.
I mean, my captain. I think the biggest mistake they made, and we discussed this before, was giving the captaincy to Mayank Agarwal. They rewarded him for his loyalty without sort of, I mean, that is fine. But he doesn't. I don't think he has the qualities to be a leader. I showed in his captaincy. I mean, he was poor with the bat, and he's been.
Maybe they should have given it to Shikhar Dhawan in hindsight.
In hindsight, yes. I mean, Shikhar Dhawan, a more balanced head. Also, the way Mayank Agarwal batted, because he didn't score any runs, Shikhar Dhawan was forced to play the role of the anchor, which shows in his strike rate of 122.
Correct.
And Dhawan for the Capitals were at his best when he was striking at 140 in the previous 2 seasons.
Correct.
The Dhawan not scoring quickly, Agarwal not scoring at all. The pressure was all on Livingstone, who was their best batsman. But, at the end of the day, it was not a cohesive unit. Also, the bowling. Arshdeep Singh was brilliant in the death, but in terms of containing, they didn't have, and we discussed it, they didn't have a tear-away Indian fast bowler who could pick wickets. Therefore, overall, I think their wicket-taking problem existed. Overall, they have the second number's lower of wickets in the tournament. So, there were a lot of problems for Punjab Kings. Disappointing given the resources at the disposal. But I expect this team to do their homework and come back in the seasons to come.
I also feel, I think, with Punjab Kings, the thing that stood out also for me was just not being able to give enough trust to Mayank Agarwal as the captain, because you saw it was a team management coach, Anil Kumble, sitting there, and they're making the bowling changes from the dugout. I don't know whether that works and to what level it should work, and what happens to the captain on the field at that time, who